Have you seen the price of bacon lately? Or tried grabbing a tray of ground beef without your wallet begging for mercy? What if I told you the reason isn't just inflation, it's international rejection? That's right. America's once mighty beef and pork empire is crashing hard. Shipments are getting turned away from ports in Asia. Canada is swooping in with record-breaking deals. And now, families across the US are stuck paying double while ranchers go broke and Trump is fuming. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that bell so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Drop a comment below. Are you seeing empty meat cases or ridiculous price tags where you shop? Let us know. This isn't just a trade story. It's a turning point. It's the moment the US beef and pork industry, worth over $200 billion, watched power slip through its fingers, and it all started when foreign markets gave America the cold shoulder. $5 billion vanished almost overnight. That's what American ranchers felt when major Asian buyers returned entire shiploads of US meat. Containers packed with prime cuts were slapped with red ink and sent back home. The global message: America's meat isn't welcome here anymore. Meanwhile, Canada, America's friendly neighbor to the north, didn't just watch. It acted fast. In the same week US orders were shredded, Canadian meat packers quietly signed a near $5 billion contract. Their red and white maple leaf label. It's now the star attraction on menus from Tokyo to Seoul. And it didn't take long for this shock to hit American dinner tables. Ground beef surged by nearly $2 a tray. Bacon now flirts with $10 a pound. And grocers are warning, this is just the beginning. We could see a 15% price jump before Labor Day. Families are already choosing cheaper proteins. Chicken is flying off the shelves. Taco Tuesdays are turning into meatless Mondays. But how did we even get here? How did America, the world's top beef producer, lose its grip so fast? Let's rewind to March 27, 2023. That's the day Japan quietly lifted a 20-year-old ban on Canadian processed beef. In doing so, it opened the gate to Asia's richest meat markets. And that gate? It quickly became a conveyor belt. By May 2025, Canadian exports to Japan alone had jumped 13.1%. US cuts that once filled Japanese steakhouse menus were pushed aside. In came the maple leaf. At the same time, chaos was brewing south of the Canadian border. China delivered a hammer blow in April. It hit US beef with a brutal 125% tariff. That forced restaurants in Beijing to abandon Texas brisket in favor of cheaper Canadian options. Shipments once proudly marked with Nebraska choice now circle back home, half empty. Cold storage facilities across Asia are filling up with red and white boxes. Not stars and stripes. The implications run deeper than just meat. Farmers across the American Midwest rely on meat exports to sell their soybeans and corn. Pork producers alone helped consume over 100 million bushels of soybeans in 2024. That generated over $1.1 billion in farm income. And every pound of beef shipped overseas added nearly 60 cents to every bushel of corn. But now, that demand is vanishing. If even half of Chinese orders disappear, and analysts say that's already happening, US farmers could lose 50 million bushels of soybean demand. That's enough to wipe out every dollar of price premium they earned last year. And corn. A similar loss would strip nearly $3 billion from the 2025 harvest's value. Those aren't just spreadsheet numbers. Those are loans not paid. Equipment not replaced. Livelihoods on the line. Back in Canada, things couldn't be more different. Manitoba cattle ranchers are already treating the US as a risky buyer. They're signing fresh contracts with Korean and Filipino importers. Farms are even building their own chilling stations, so meat can be frozen, packed, and shipped directly to Asia from Winnipeg. No need to cross the US border. No risk of tariffs. And it's working. American supermarkets may soon pay Canadian middlemen for meat that used to come directly from Iowa. It's a complete reshuffling of the global protein supply chain. Want a date to mark the crash? Circle March 5, 2025. That's when US Meat Export Federation data showed pork exports had propped up corn and soybean prices across the board. Just days later, on March 14, China signaled it would let licenses for nearly 1,000 American meat plants expire. The reaction from buyers across Asia: run to Canada. Fast. And boy, did they run. Chicago traders now warn the ripple effects are massive. Soybean demand alone could collapse by 50 million bushels. Corn next. If that domino falls, it'll crush $3 billion in harvest value. Worse. U.S. beef plants simply can't unload their product. Once those export licenses lapsed, backlogs began to choke the system. Cold chains froze up. Storage filled. Shipments stalled. By March 27, USDA logs showed U.S. beef orders to China had collapsed 97%. That's not a typo. In just a few weeks, volumes dropped from 2,000 metric tons per week to just 54. The impact was devastating. Plants began canceling slaughter shifts. Demurrage bills piled up. And families back home felt the price spike before economists could even write a report. By late February 2025, average ground beef prices had risen 43% since early 2020. That $8 taco night. It now costs $12. And it's the poorest communities that feel it most. School lunch programs are rewriting menus. Beef is off the table. In comes chicken. The national cattle herd is at a 74-year low, thanks to drought-driven culls. Feedlots are sparse. Tyson Foods says it's bleeding red ink, waiting for ranchers to rebuild herds. But that takes time, years, not quarters. Canada is ramping up meat exports. Packers added shifts, rail yards are full, and Japan is securing future orders, avoiding U.S. meat. If China doesn't renew licenses by July, the U.S. could lose another $1 billion. Tariffs won't fix it. In the U.S., the impact shows. Tyson's May 5 briefing revealed beef prices up 8.2% in one quarter, tanking their stock 9%. The CEO called it their toughest market yet, and Wall Street agreed. It gets worse. Reuters confirmed the U.S. cattle herd is now the smallest since 1951. Feedlots are fighting over fewer and fewer steers, and that bidding war is bleeding through to your grocery bill. Wholesale beef ran 10.1% hotter in May compared to last year, the highest among all staple proteins. Fast food chains are quietly shrinking patty sizes. Grocery stores are changing shelf tags almost weekly. Schools can't keep up. Directors are replacing tacos with chicken nuggets because federal reimbursements just can't cover the rising cost of meat. And who's slicing into steak? Not Americans. It's Tokyo diners. Seoul families. They're enjoying Canada Prime, meat that once sailed from Seattle. With every pound Canada ships overseas, the hole on U.S. shelves grows wider. Analysts warn that if droughts persist and tariffs remain, the classic American holiday roast could become a luxury item by the fourth quarter. Let's be clear, this is no longer a trade spat. It's a grocery tax. A silent one. And the meter is still running. Canada isn't just filling the gap. It's expanding. Ottawa has launched a $6.5 billion meat export support package. That includes $1 billion specifically for cold storage and freezer rail lines that send meat straight to Asia. No U.S. soil. No U.S. rules. By contrast, American companies like Tyson are closing plants. Over 800 workers in Emporia, Kansas, lost their jobs last December when a major beef and pork plant shut down. And insiders say it's not over. If China's freeze drags past August, at least 4 more U.S. plants could go dark by Thanksgiving. Iowa feedlots are refusing new cattle. Minnesota grain elevators are scrambling to sell to overseas buyers. Farmers fear a glut that nobody can move. While Canada's building freezer trains, America's locking up slaughterhouses. Unless Washington reverses course fast, Canada could permanently own the Pacific Rim protein trade. U.S. ranchers may soon find themselves priced out of every ring, foreign and domestic. Canada grabbed this opportunity by moving fast, building infrastructure, and showing up where it mattered. They stamped their name on Asia's dinner plates. And right now, that name is worth billions. Washington, meanwhile, got tangled in red tape. It neglected its cold chain infrastructure. It fired a tariff round that backfired, and hit American wallets hardest. If Congress can't fix the regulatory mess, if safety codes remain misaligned, and if the US can't match Canadian speed, a century of American meat dominance could melt away within a single fiscal year. There's still one shot left. A North America-Asia Standards Pact could streamline trade, cut paperwork, and get meat moving at Canadian speed. But that requires unity, vision, and fast action. So the question now is simple: will the Stars and Stripes fight back for your Friday night steak? Or does the maple leaf keep setting the table? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if this breakdown opened your eyes, give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what's next.